Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ferdbird the Nerd and Mr. Pickles Nichols coming in white hot with our Sunday morning. What day is today? What day is it? I forget. Hello?
Oh, sorry. What day is it today? The
Yeah.
date? It's like the 17th,
The 17th
I think.
of November.
Or wait, no,
Just kidding.
18th,
18th of November.
something like that.
February. Something like that. Thanks everybody for coming through. Let's do our little intro. that's, that's the greatest intro of all time. I didn't show I didn't show the giveaways today, but this is our giveaway. It's a fig pin of Baby. I thought it was a Dragon Ball Z character. You've heard of this guy?
Dragon Ball GT.
Oh, I don't watch Dragon Ball GT, but I found it. So this is our giveaway day. So if you guys are not commenting in the comments, you are missing out on this Dragon Ball Z GT fig pin, which goes for like $20 or so. So it's free money. So if you don't like free money, then I guess don't comment. But if you like free money, Marvel Man Comics, thanks for the first comment. We got 3 lives so far. Hopefully people trickle in and come say what's going on. Oh, Jason, I know no spoilers or anything like that, but I know you went and saw the what movie is that?
Quantumania.
Transylvania?
Yeah. Marvel goes to Transylvania.
Quantumania. What'd you think of it?
I liked it. Like, honestly, I don't know what I saw a lot of negative reviews, mostly from mostly from critics, not like the general people, because I think the Rotten Tomatoes score on it, which I could care less about that, but it's like 40 something for the critics, but like 80 something for the audience. So
so I'm that's pretty cool. I was supposed to go see the movie with you this weekend, but I'm actually in Prosser, Washington, east of the mountains. I'm currently in like one of those like those elementary school like chair/table combinations.
Oh, the little plastic one with the slots on the back.
This is the old school, like from the 80s. It's like metal and wood. It doesn't have like the lift up thing where you put all your pencils and stuff, which I was really hoping it would. But I was like, oh man, there's no way I'm going to fit in this. I fit pretty okay in it.
Snug.
I don't like perfect.
It's like you don't see he looks normal on the screen, but he's like actually just kind of like hunched up, like barely on this chair.
Dude, we had I went to a birthday party for this dude. His name's Don Chewy, and there was like that the spicy like seafood stuff, all that. But they made tacos with like carne asada tacos. Oh, dude, he would have loved it, man. He would have loved it. I got too full though. I couldn't eat enough food, but and then we drank a little bit. I didn't drink too much, but anyway. But yeah, like if you can see, or the little shoot, I'm in Yaca Vegas. See that?
Vegas. Yeah. I won't be in Vegas until like May.
Oh, for that, you going to concert? There you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. How far are we into this broadcast? Oh, only 4 minutes in. We got 5 live. I think 2 are live downstairs. Yeah. So anyway, kind of some cool stuff going on this week. Let's see here. So obviously Quantumania came out and all that good stuff. Oh, have you been watching The Last of Us at all, or have you? I knew the newest episode comes out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm fully caught up. Except, well, obviously the one today hasn't released because they don't do it like everybody else, where it's like, oh, midnight it comes out, but like they make you wait until like 6 or 7 at night, I think is when it drops.
Yeah, I know. Like watching the last episode, I felt like that was kind of a all emotions kind of deal. Like I felt every emotion in that
Well, especially because from what I understand, like the way that, not to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but the way that episode ended, those characters, the characters in the show, apparently, like, or in the game, that's not how it goes down, and they changed a bunch of it as far as like from the game and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't remember how the game went. It was such a long time ago since I last played, but I think this is pretty interesting right here. Like
I know that thing keeps going up, huh?
Yeah, it's like, what our subject we're going to talk about today. It kind of involves like the state of the comic book market, but kind of the boom and I won't say bust, but just I think correction. It's FOC, but good properties that have. I think that's a cool cover too. By the way, this one is done by FOC Comics. I follow them on Instagram. Good guys. I forgot where they're located, but I like this kind of homage on the Ape and the Genies. I stopped reading that book, but I just like the homage, whatever you call it. Yeah, I just think it's cool to see kind of our organic growth, and I think as the show gets like bigger, or I think as the show progresses, and there's not going to be as many episodes left, I think it still has staying power. I don't think I'd buy it like $2,000 unless I just really wanted the book.
Yeah.
It makes like that's what speccing's all about, and that's what's like investing in comics is all about. You have to have that perfect kind of like storm of, kind of almost like a cult following, and then like a really good property that comes out of it, a really good story, and then like, I guess money to kind of back all that up. I personally have been like looking at like a lot of DC stuff lately, and I didn't do that before. And I'll admit it, like I think a lot of the ever since James Gunn came out with his announcement, I was just curious. I was like, oh, I wonder why he picked those characters to kind of concentrate on. And now I feel like it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, like he's trying to garner to a younger audience, and then maybe like kind of stay within that like 30 to 45-year-old range as well. And so I started like reading like the trade paperbacks. I wasn't going to FOMO and just buying books because it's the first appearance of so and so. I actually like went in and checked out. I actually read the characters like Damian and Jonathan Kent and some other younger characters, and I really like the stories. I just don't know why I never thought of that before. But have you? I know you're really good at like remembering knowledge and stuff from like just books you read. Have you read any of this stuff, like gone back and looked at any of this stuff from like 2008, 2009, 11?
I have a little bit, but not a whole lot, just because I kind of want to see. I mean, as far as like purchasing for myself, like I'll always look for books that I personally will grab for decent amounts, but I don't want to buy anything that's like taken off.
Yeah, I think also too, like I started picking up I think what also is like a collector too. Like I kind of got honestly bored with all the brand new Marvel stuff that was coming out. I was like, dude, this stuff's kind of boring, and so I wanted something new. And you don't necessarily have to like buy something like brand new. You can go back and like look at older stuff that's new to you per se, like music, right? And so it's also kind of garnered like a new hunt for me as well of like books I never would have looked out for before. Because I think I told you this, like for like a while, I wasn't going hunting for a long time for new books. So kind of exciting for me as far as like collecting and stuff and seeing what, this first appearance, or like this is a really good storyline, like Brightest Day, which is the first appearance of Aqua Lad or new Aqua Lad. Dude, forget the like first appearance. That story is like cool. What sucks is like I don't know enough about like the backstory of these characters because I'm just learning about them. But check that out, man. You can still find back issues for pretty cheap, but I just buy the trade paperback and just read it if you want good content.
Yeah, because like one of the DC characters that I'm interested in, that's like we were talking about last week. His cover kind of shot up. The 1 in 100 static.
Static X.
I'm interested in looking into that character. I was actually like the books that I got yesterday. I was looking for books on him,
Yeah.
not to spec on, but just because I'm interested in the character and I kind of want to like read up on him type of deal.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of the Marvel stuff that I've been buying recently, like, is just kind of like, like I told you, I bought that Wakanda 4 or whatever, the Tosin cover and whatever, and he kind of like I was excited to see that because it was supposed to be the first action of Tosin. You actually get to see him fight. And it was like the story wasn't that great, and he got overshadowed by his girlfriend, who was like a mystic's Wakandan, and so I was just kind of like, and she basically like set him off as far as his power wise. Like the newest, what was it, Silver Surfer Ghostlight, like that was the first book that Marvel had done in a while that I actually like really enjoyed it, and I'm kind of excited to see what the next book will be like. But yeah, like the DC stuff is kind of where I started looking more at like newer books just to like read up on them, because I've just, like I said, Marvel's just kind of like their newer stuff is just not grabbing me as much, so I'm just kind of seeing what else I can get into and read.
I agree too. Like it's it's weird because like I feel the same way, not to kind of reiterate what you said, but like honestly, like I went through like my pull list at my local comic book shop and I was like, man, this is like kind of lame stuff. I'm just not digging it as much as I used to. So it's nice to have kind of a jolt into asking people around like our Discord. Like I was asking around like, hey, what DC book should I look for? Because I just need something to read and kind of enjoy. And Trey was telling me like he's a big Damien fan. And yeah, he was like big time, like just showing like, he has like a really good kind of synopsis on like what's good in DC and what you should read and like key issues and all that, but more so like, oh, read this, it's a really good story. And I just kind of just like Flashpoint's like pretty good too. I know Flashpoint's probably gone up quite a bit since the trailer from this past Sunday, but definitely, you know, Flashpoint's good. Brightest Day, kind of like newer kind of stories that are like pretty dark. Justice League Dark. I need to get into that too, but I mean I'm reading a lot of Damien stuff, so that's exciting. So anyway.
Etrigan the Demon, he's a good one too. He's got an interesting Etrigan the Demon. He's part of the Justice League Dark at one point, like older. Oh, really? Justice League Dark, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of exciting. Yeah. So, well, we got I think 7 live right now. And we are giving away this little guy. If you need to comment, just comment in the section below. Give us a like too. This is a fig pin. If you guys don't know what a fig pin is, they're like these little collectible pins that are highly detailed. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I dig these guys. I have the Dragon Ball Z one I got from Emerald City Comic Con. And Joe, yeah, the dragon, yeah. I thought it was awesome, dude. I was like, I'm keeping that, man. I'm giving that away.
And like, I wish they would do a good live action Dragon Ball Z movie. Like that one that they had was just so corny. I'm like, dude, just do it good.
You didn't like it?
Good one.
You didn't like it? It was horrible.
It's like watching the old Mario Brothers movie. It's like,
What's up? Man, respect. Okay, I'm putting you guys in the for confirmation. I'm putting you guys in the giveaway for. We only got 4 people in the giveaway so far. 7 live. Hey man, I'm cool. I'm happy we got 3 live. So thanks for joining us on a Sunday morning. I feel like I'm gonna like upset a lot of people by by us talking about this. I didn't get any backlash from this at all, but I just kind of thought of just this topic that I wanted to talk about today, kind of like what I think pulled a lot of collectors into the hobby, but also pushed away a bunch also. And I think like when you're coming into like a hobby, an investment or anything, right? You kind of want to go into it long term, because if it's short term, you're not really creating a community or like an environment that's good for whatever product that is or whatever. Oh, thank you. And this is more informative. I'm not trying to like hate on anybody. I'm not trying to take away from anyone's brand. I'm not even trying to take away from comic book stores in general, because they should also want to have, like, if you're a good business person or a businessman, you want to create that community. You want to create that network of people. You don't want just one-offs that just go to your store once and then just never go again. That's not good. That's not a good client, and that's not good for the future of comics too, right? So the topic that we are talking about today, my friend, is FOC. So I took a look at some FOC books from last year. I could have gone like way back, but I'm too tired for that. And, you know, that's kind of boring stuff. So I took a look at some specific 2022 current to today FOC books and just kind of went with the current market and what they were going for initially out of the gate, to kind of get everybody a sense of like, okay, if I go through FOC, which if you guys know what FOC is, it's final order cutoff. So essentially it's like pre-ordering your books for less than cover price or ordering your books for cover price. In my opinion, it's risky. Like if you're buying 5 copies of 5 titles every week just to hopefully have 1 or 2 of them hit, you're wasting your money. What do you think? You think it's risky?
Yeah, like, and let me preface by saying, like, these are just like opinions and whatnot. Like, buy what you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of why it exists. Like, I'm not trying to dog on anything that anybody wants to read or anything like that. It's just my opinion, and you should buy what you like to read. Like, starting off. So it's like, if that's what you want to do, like, that's kind of where I fall with FOC though, is like, I buy what I like. And so I don't really, I don't look ahead. Like, I'm one of those guys that, like, I like to go down to the shop and look at the wall of the new books and stuff like that and just see the covers, kind of flip through them a little bit, see if there's something interesting to me. And so that's just how I am. Like, I don't really pre-order too often. There's like a couple of them that I do. And I have in the past that I've got like 5 copies of some of those books still that I bought 5 of.
Yeah. And like, I've been on channels before where like we talked about FOC, and I personally did the same thing. I think one that I can remember from last year, I don't think I put on the slides, but it was that first Darth Bane cover, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I bought 5 copies. I think I sent I think I sent a couple to CGC, and I had it in a box ready to go, and I went through my box and like half of it was FOC that just is dead. And so thank God I pulled half of those books out, because that'd be like basically sending crap to get graded, and you know, I'd be lucky to get 9.8 and I'd be lucky to get my money back. So anyway, that's just kind of the reason I thought of this, is because like I spent, I don't want to say like a crazy amount of FOC money, but like I put a lot of money away, or I bought a few titles in like multiple copies thinking, oh, this is the first character of this person, and you know, whatever. And it's just really hard to really make like a killing off FOC consistently. So just this is more informative. Like, just if you're like Jason, who like he really likes to he really buys stuff that he loves, honestly. Good morning, my Filipino brother.
That's probably why I have like a stack of Swamp Thing and like
totally.
Like that's sitting right next to me. It's like literally right over here.
Right. And and that's okay too. I think it's like if you're flipping and stuff, it's a little harder to make that money. You know, sometimes you got to sit on it. And John Smith, I'll talk on everyone for you. No, we all good people. John Smith's my homie, man. I love that guy. We'll get him on the show one of these days. About he is a Pokemon king when it comes to this stuff. So I'm kind of going on a tangent. We're 20 minutes in. Thanks again. We got 8 live today, so thank you everyone for joining and watching. I hope you find this video honestly like informative versus like attacking, and kind of what Ted Lasso says. Like, I just hope everyone's curious and just kind of takes a look at like what we have to talk about today. So I kind of went into this already, or we went into this already. I think you guys get that. Obviously, FOC is final order cutoff. What you do basically is you look at previews or whatever website, you put in an order, pre-ordering with your local LCS, which everyone should do. support your LCS because you want to keep those small businesses in business. And you basically buy like multiple copies so you can flip them for twice as much or whatever you want to call it. So I'm kind of going from like ones that killed it to ones that didn't really kill it. So Black Panther 3. I want to start this off hot. So this was arguably the greatest FOC book, or just first appearance, whatever you want to call it, of 2022 for either whether you want to call it short term or long term. There are multiple copies of this book, but this was the book to have. I feel like this book kind of started, like, was kind of one of the first books to, one of the last books to really get hot, and then the summer of 2022 came through, and like the market just started to tank. But this was like the last book. Like, if you left the hobby at this point, you were smart. To get back in now, I think is like a good idea, which I think we'll talk about in future shows coming soon. But tell me a little bit about this book that you know about. Tell me a little bit about this book that you know. That's what
about, like, the story of the book, or just the book in general?
Just in general. Screw the story. I mean, you're doing FOC. You don't read the book, right?
No, I read the book.
Actually,
just because I hadn't read this one yet. I just read it this morning, so I feel like I got, like, it's to just jump into a couple books in. I should have started at one and read through, just because it's like an interesting story to jump into right away. Because it's like he's going to Mars, and like the X-Men are up there, and Storm, and like his exiled fucking sleeper agent buddy.
What was that?
Did you not read it? This one.
This one?
Yeah, did you not read that?
I mean, it was FOC. I don't read FOC. No, I read it. Tosin's cool. Like, I think, and yeah.
Well, it was like weird too, because it was like it was the way the book was broken up. It had like two different stories. It was like it had the one with T'Challa, and then it kind of split halfway back, and then it had Tosin on the back half.
Yeah, tough and high grade, right? Because it's a pretty thick book. The cover A was really cool. I think what they should have done. Well, I guess he's on the front. Never mind. You can't really tell though. He's not really. And yeah, I think that the people that pumped this book, quote unquote, it was so weird. So when this book came out, when it was out on FOC, I passed on it. Like I shouldn't have, but I passed on it. It had like the perfect storm of, like, CBR did an article on it. There was people like saying, "Oh, this could be the next Miles of the Black Panther series." Like, everyone kind of knew that, T'Challa was like done with the MCU, and so there obviously had to be like a focal point in Wakanda, right? And he was just so new and exciting, and you got like just that perfect little like preview of him, that this comic book went nuclear. Joe said he paid $800 for this. Dude, Joe, there are people that I saw paid $1,200 raw for this book, and I'm talking.
Yeah, it was already like way more out of my price range by the time I like had even heard about it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. And like, it's cool. Like, if I could have found it for a reasonable price, sure.
Yeah, and if you bought this FOC, like, congratulations, man. Like, you did your research. And whether you pump the book or not, like, I don't think anyone normally, like, that doesn't have a presence on social media had to pump this book. I got so many people hitting me up DMs like, "Hey, should I sell this book at $600?" I'm like, "How much did you buy it for?" And home dude was like, $1.25. I'm like, yeah, because, like, dude, like, why would you? That's almost a 300% increase in, like, 3 days. Like, take that investment. Like, don't get greedy. Take that investment and maybe buy back into it later. And I know it tailored off. Like, I sold my 9.8 for, I want to say, like $750, which I feel is like, this is crazy right here. What John Smith says, 1 in 25 was $20 at Midtown, and that's where you get lucky with FOC stuff, right? So, this book is kind of tailored off to around, like, I think 600, 550. It's definitely not like at 1,200, dude. Like, if you're selling at 1,200 and 9.8 back last year, like, again, good for you. I'm not hating on it. Like, You know, if you can take advantage of the market, like why not? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, definitely this book still, like, you read the Wakanda 4, what was it, Wakanda 4, where his girlfriend comes through. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
It was okay. It was like I don't like, so they were fighting the Abomination, I believe.
Oh,
you're talking about this book, right?
Yeah.
Like they were fighting the Abomination. Like he didn't really have, because like he's a breed of, well, not breed of Wakandan. He's like from a tribe of Wakandans that are imbued with the power. They basically like wanted to live with the vibranium, not like use it to make weapons. Like it's basically embedded in them.
Yeah.
And she's like, she kind of shows up and he's fighting Abomination. He doesn't have his power. And then he's getting beat basically. She shows up and like kind of touches him, if I remember correctly, and activates his powers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was kind of it. They beat him together, and then I'm just like, oh, so like he's not as powerful as I was led to believe, type of deal.
Yeah. And I feel like they're like, okay, so obviously, like, I'm kind of curious of people that did buy this. Like, why did you pay $800 for it? Was it FOMO? Was it like you really believe that he was going to make it into the MCU? Did you never think it was going to fall back down? I mean, I paid $300 for my copy that needed to be pressed, so I felt like that was a good deal at the time. Looking back on it, it was really risky. However, that was just kind of how the market was up until a month or two after this book came out. Like it just kind of like the market just kind of fell apart a little bit. So anyway, we'll move on. If you still have this book, like, it's a sick cover, 1 in 25, first appearance of a pretty cool character. If you're thinking he's making an MCU, that's the dice roll. That's like rolling midnight. Putting $5 on midnight, hoping it does.
I think he will at some point. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
No, I mean, you're 5 to 10 years, if that. They kind of gotta get their act together. Hey, what's up, Renee? How's it going? Renee, I'm gonna put you in the giveaway, even though you won last week, because we only have 6 people in the giveaway. If you guys if you guys want this cool little Dragon Ball Z fig pin, make a comment in the giveaway or in the comment section. I'll put you in the giveaway. So this book, Static Shadows of Dakota, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it in the DCU. I don't know a ton about this character, but this just came out like a couple weeks ago. It made a lot of top 10 lists. I know it was number 2 on Mr. Stein's channel, I believe. 1 in 100, Static Shadow of Dakota. This is a really cool book. I dig this book as much as I dug the Black Panther 3 book too as well. However, I know our homie, the cutie Mel, and I also want to say Ultra Maximus, which has one of the coolest names on all of social media, by the way. You're not following Ultra Maximus. He's great. He's a variant dude, and all that good stuff. But I didn't really get this for the DCU stuff, just because I didn't want to spec on DCU. But man, this cover is amazing. I paid $125 for this cover. It's on its way. And the book, like, I'm picking up Static like crazy. I'm digging for it everywhere. That whole universe, the Dakota universe, like, I did not realize how cool it is. And this was selling for 150 out of the gate. It's a 1 in 100, people. So I don't think a lot of shops, and I want to give a shout out to Trey. Trey, you kind of emphasize that not a lot of shops were ordering 1 in 100, or just kind of that it was your thought process. And so I kind of grabbed on that, and that's why I bought one for $150. Because if you think, well, it's worth at least $100, right? Because Source had to order 100 copies to get one. It's a foil cover, it's DC, and it's a really cool character, and the cover is freaking amazing. First appearance of a villain. I'm not going to talk about too much about the innards of the book, because I think you guys should read it. And for me as a collector, it got me really excited to kind of buy back issues of this character. And Jason and I were talking about it before we started the show. Like, I think this is a really interesting character regardless. So Jason, what are your thoughts on this character and this book?
No, yeah, like I was saying earlier, this is probably the DC character that I'm interested in reading about the most.
Yeah.
Out of recent time, there, like I have a character in Marvel and a character in DC that I'm super interested to read more on and see where they're going. The Marvel character, I've pretty much read everything that she's been in so far.
Who's that?
But Zoe Laveau.
Oh yeah. She's cool.
I think she's a interesting character because she's popping up across a lot of stuff, especially in the Strange Academy books. You were kind of thinking it was going to be Emily Bright that was going to be the issue with her and Doyle Dormammu, but like recently, Zoe Laveau has been kind of the one that's been popping up more as far as like crossover in books. Like the new Midnight Suns heavily involves her, and so. And same with the Strange Academy finals is kind of gearing up in her direction, and so I'm just kind of interested to see where they're going with that character. But like I said, with this one, it's not even for spec purposes. Like I'm just interested in the character itself. Like I want to read more on him.
Yeah, that's how it should be. We should be buying, FOC. If you're doing FOC, you should be buying characters that, it's a little hard to get ahead of the the deal or whatever. But because if that FOC book doesn't hit, then you're stuck with 100 copies of something that you may not like, but yeah, I think this hits. I'm biased. I think this hits. When I heard about this FOC, I heard about like a few days before FOC cut off, so I had to go aftermarket and buy one, but I would have bought. Whenever I see this book on a newsstand, I buy every copy of it because I think I just really like it, and like maybe I'll do a giveaway of the copy of it so people just read it. That's kind of my goal for this channel. So,
because I think I saw, I think they had three copies of Static on the shelf when I was after the movie yesterday. Like I said, I went over there to just kind of pop in and see what they had. I wanted to kind of root through their newer DC stuff just to see what they had, if anything. And I saw that they did have 3 books of this on the wall. It wasn't this one, obviously, but it was like there's like 2 polybagged ones that came with like poster pieces or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I remember. I know what you're talking about. And this also is in cardstock. You don't have to get the 1/100 if you like the cover as much. You can get the cardstock version too. But this is beautiful. It's foil, BT dubs.
Yeah, so. No, this is like, I mean, if it was any cover to have to like keep that, I'm just like, I don't want to read it. I just want to like protect it type of deal. This one right here.
Yeah, legit. And then World's Finest
preview.
Do you have this? Do you have this book?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So John Smith actually was hitting me up on Instagram. We were kind of talking about this book, and I think a lot of people, like if you're into Jack White, Jack White is famously like a really big comic book collector. You probably picked this book up. I know some people were FOCing this book, and that this was a good FOC book for a flip, right? This book was going for $50 raw out the gate. So if you saw this book and bought 10 copies of it, this is a perfect example of FOC like killing it, right? It's come down to earth a little bit to around 24, and we all have our opinions about this book. And Joe, I kind of agree. If it didn't have Jack White on the front, then it'd be really weird. I haven't seen this book in person, but there's a second print coming out, and it almost looks exactly like this one. I don't know what the difference is particularly, but I know for sure
a different shade of blue, isn't it, or something like that?
I don't even know. Like I was searching to get like just up to date sales, and like it looks pretty close to. And I was going through pretty quick, but I know it's come down a bit to $24. So, if you still had copies, like you sell like your couple to pay for how much you paid for that, the lot of 10. And then, you just kind of slowly like trickle down the rest, or maybe keep one and possibly get it signed by Jack White, which should be kind of cool. I don't know how you'd be able to do that, but maybe in a couple years, you just keep one, put in your back pocket or back issue bin, and he'll come out sometime and sign the book.
Take one to a concert, maybe. Hope it doesn't get beat up in the process.
And this is kind of, I think, what a lot of people's hope is. You got to get CGC to Jack White signature. I've just never heard of any like music stars like doing CGC signings. However,
I was seeing for that Galaxy Con. Like on Instagram and stuff like that. I always see like get your submissions in for like so and so, and it's usually like actors and like musicians, stuff like that, versus like artists and writers and stuff like that.
Right.
Which was weird. I don't even know what the hell it is. It's just like get your submissions in for Galaxy Con so that you can have have the Vision sign your stuff. Paul Bettany, what's up?
That's awesome. We got 10 live. Thanks everybody we're about a half hour into this, and we'll be done pretty soon. So 8 Billion Genies, again, another this one kind of came out of the gate with the option news by Amazon and Charles Soleil. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And really cool story. It's, it came out, Birth City Comics did that homage that, if you didn't get that book, that I feel like that book kicked off a lot of different Nintendo homages. Jason, I know that was like one of your first like quote unquote FOC flips, right? In a way, a little bit. The story's pretty amazing. They came out with 17 different first covers after like the success of this book, and it's come down quite a bit from the initial like out the gate start from like $80, and it's come down to about $25 for the first printing. It's kind of like, I guess, pick as you want as far as the cover is concerned. And the spec arguably is like, it's a really good story, but like to keep it kind of going at the prices it's at, or was when it initially came out, I guess it's just kind of hard. But
yeah, it's kind of became one of those books where it's just like buy it because you want to read it, not because you want to flip it type of deal.
Yeah, I stopped reading this book just because I don't know. I dug it. It was cool, but I just stopped reading.
I mean, it's an interesting world for like a show if it's done well.
Yeah, but it's gonna be really tough.
I think like Amazon's not their track record isn't like necessarily the best. Although like half of the stuff that people complain about, like I didn't mind them,
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's a smart company, obviously. Man. What's that?
Sorry, I just had a eBay update come through. Somebody outbid me on my Ghost Rider one that I'm after. Son of a bitch.
We're coming after you. But no, again, another successful FOC. I don't know. There's always a price somewhere, right? But no, if you flip this during FOC, like, good job. The real FOC, quote unquote, was the Birth City. If you got multiple copies of that, like, which I had the opportunity to at least get one, I didn't, just because I was like, independent book. But dude, this, yeah, you got two. Yeah. You got 9.8 too, didn't you?
The first one I flipped raw, and then you pressed the second one, and I got a 9.8.
I was so nervous about that with the cardstock, but yeah. So this one, we're kind of going towards, like, I know this is like I was doing ratio covers because here's like kind of my rule about FOC, and I'll kind of get into it from this point on. It's really hard to be successful FOC. So I'm not recommending to do it, or we're not recommending to do it. We're not recommending not to do it. I think the best way to do it is to put as much money as you can in a ratio cover on a book that you really either dig the cover on, or you just think it's going to hit all cylinders. Kind of like that Static X book and arguably the Black Panther 3, right? But here is Catwoman 1 in 25. Came out sometime in May last year. Out the gate in 9.8. It was 4 1/4. There is no substance to the guts of this book. This is purely a cover play, which is why you would not want to get a bunch of this Catwoman 1 in 25. I don't even know what number, 43. It's since cooled down to $150 in 9.8. But out the gate, this book was going for like $80 on FOC. I think obviously just because of the cover and the cardstock. And arguably, yeah, Souza Micah like did a really good job with this cover. Tell me what you know about this cover, my dude.
Well, I just remember seeing it and like for the odd like because it's kind of an odd numbered book.
Yeah.
And then to have it blow up as much as it did, I was just like, I remember seeing it and like, but the prices for it, I was like, God damn, like what is the deal with this cover? Like,
Yeah.
is it like, does it introduce a character? Does it do this, that, or the other thing? And it's like, no, it's just a friggin' fantastic looking cover.
Yeah. You got two of arguably DC's like most famous femme fatales, along with Batgirl, I guess. But she's not a fatale, but yeah, Stein was going for 700 because Souza's autograph's kind of hard to get. She was kind of up and coming at that point, and then I wouldn't say she blew up, but she really like people were looking for her at one of the big cons. I don't know if it was Chicago or if it was New York City Comic Con, but one of the cons people were like looking for her to sign her books. Was she at Emerald City too?
I don't remember.
Yeah, me either. I swear she had a booth there, but I don't know if she was actually there, which is weird. If you're an artist alley, like why aren't you there? But oh well. Anyway, this was definitely like an FOC. Like you should have sold right out the gate if you're trying to make money on it. Because yeah, books just cooled down a lot on eBay. Okay, next book, Captain Carter #1. You guys know how much I hate this book. I felt like, and people that I'm not like, I don't follow them on Instagram, were pushing this book and like showing how many books they had like found at LCSs, and then I could literally see them flipping them for like 3 times cover. And this book is a freaking dollar bin, or not this one particularly, but this book was like is now a dollar bin book. Like people bought tons of copies of this, and it doesn't have any substance in my opinion. The 1 in 25, okay, arguably, like I would buy this at $1.25. Like what's the worst it's gonna do? It's a 1 in 25 ratio book. However, if you were buying the cover A's and FOC, like this was going out for 20 to 25 bucks out the gate. But I felt this was really like media pushed. Now I know Captain Carter, like she has like a 3-season show. She's got like all this stuff going for her, but like, dude, why isn't this book like why isn't this book particularly like an $800 book? There's arguably this is her first appearance as Captain Carter, but Exiles 3 I feel like is the better book to have if you're specking on Captain Carter, even though I know like the universes and stuff, but like dude, she's basically Captain Carter in Exiles 3 in my opinion. But yeah, what do you think about this book, man?
I think this just kind of, I mean, when it blew up, it was basically right before she was supposed to, like, it was kind of right after you saw her in the trailer for Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like blew up. This and the other one, it was like hit or miss. This one seemed to blow up a little bit more than anything else, which I mean, it's fine. It's a cool looking cover. Like it looks
beautiful
old.
Cover.
Yeah, it looks old when it's a new book. Like it's just, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, the story and whatnot wasn't anything amazing or new.
Yeah, and John Smith knows how I feel about this book. This is like, I feel like this book, like if you were like new into collecting and you FOC'd this book and you just bought it post FOC, like you got screwed over. I'm just gonna say it. Like the cover A, and if you paid $450 for this book and 9.8, like why wouldn't you just buy like a Wolverine 1 Raw or like just so many other books for $450, like raw or graded, that you could have done better. And like I always feel like if a character has like 3, like they're gonna be in the next, like they're gonna have their own season of like 1 to 2 seasons, like that book should not be selling for $150 in 9.8, of their first appearance, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, next book, Thor 20. I have no words for this garbage book. I just don't. Donny Cates can't stick a landing. I know he's going through some personal stuff, so I'm not going to harp on him so much, like personally, but yeah, I did not FOC this book, but I did flip it for sure. You're lucky to get going back on the previous slide. Yeah, the Exiles 1 in 25 is sick. I love that cover. It's this book, like you can find it anywhere. And I'm sorry if you're trying to sell this on Whatnot or like any other like, eBay sales, but like, dude, like this was like, cover's cool, I guess. But yeah, this book is like, ugh, gross. Do you have this book?
No. No.
And John Smith doing the pleasure. He's the Michael Bay of comics. I've heard that reference before too. It's just kind of funny. I mean, Donny Cates is a great writer. I just felt like he's just not as consistent as he used to be. And when I saw this being presented for FOC, I feel like out the gate, like this did pretty well. But like it only lasted for a little bit because people just flooded the market with this new character. And in my opinion, this is kind of the start of like people kind of tailoring off like their new Marvel character first appearances. It was just getting too much. Anyway,
he should like hire a ghostwriter to finish his books for him. It's like you just got the ending, man. I got the beginning and the middle. You just take care of the end and we're good.
Just do the last 6 pages of my book and I'll pay you for all the proceeds. Bloodstone #1, Death of Doctor Strange. So there are about 78 printings of this 3rd generation Bloodstone book. I think out the gate, this was going for maybe $8 to $10. Like, honestly, I can't say for what I saw on like Whatnot, but on eBay, people were saying this book was going for like 20 to 25. I did not see any sales for 20 to 25 on this book. I saw maybe 15. So I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a good, if you bought 20 copies of this book, you really would have had to time it out the gate. Like if this was like a good idea to invest in. And I feel like kind of what I was talking about earlier, I did put 20 out the gate, but that's not correct. I think I just got that off a website or something. I think the highest I ever saw was like maybe 12 or 15, maybe 15. And those buy it nows aren't very accurate either. So, you can find this book for cover price.
Now, does this the death of Doctor Strange in this one, does it directly tie into his death in Strange Academy? Because doesn't he pass in that, or is he already passed? I can't remember.
I don't know. All I know is people were like, "Oh my gosh, is the granddaughter of Elsa or like sister?" I can't even remember what her relation is, but I don't know. Werewolf by Night did kill Elsa Spec. I think it for sure confused people with Elsa Spec, because do you get the redheaded version, which is her here? I know it doesn't have to do with her in the show, or do you get like the OG Bloodstone one? I don't even know. I like Elsa. I liked the Werewolf by Night show. Did you dig it? Yeah. I wish they would have done more episodes, honestly, but or I wish they would just do let's just do that universe of Man-Thing, Elsa, Hunter, monsters, all that stuff. It was kind of like a weird show, because they did a one-off. It was like a one-shot basically, and then nothing since. Marvel's so weird lately, but did you have any copies of this book?
No, I didn't have any copies of this book. I read it, but I didn't have any copies of it.
I bought some. I bought some copies. I flipped a couple for like $8 to $10. It honestly wasn't worth the handling of everything and whatever. I think I sold a 9.8 for like $49.99. This book dropped fast. So my point with FOC on this book is you would have had to sell it like you would have had to have a really good following on Whatnot, and you'd have to sell it like exactly like the day it came out and just flood the market and just hope that all of your books sell for that much more. It just wasn't worth it, in my opinion, with this book. So there is a 1 in 25 that does pretty well. And there's a Virgin cover of this as well. David Nakayama is like an amazing artist. Shout out to David Nakayama. But this is kind of like a representation where I think FOC, even if you hit it, because you kind of do with the first appearance and a good cover, it's still really hard to make money in FOC. Rogues Gallery. I did not FOC this book. What up? What up? I'm gonna put you in the drawing, bro. Immortal. Do you know about this book?
No. I mean, I've seen it here and there on what little I hop on Whatnot anymore.
Yeah.
You see it pop up here and there. I don't know anything about it really, as far as what the story is about, or
don't worry about it. It's crap. So this is like an example of like FOC failing out the gate. And I didn't even like, so I put the most successful as we go, like FOC books. There are hundreds of FOC books, and it's so tough. I'm not saying pointless. That's negative.
Well,
it's just really tough.
And I will say that like when it comes to independent books like this, like I don't usually buy them or FOC them unless somebody's like, hey, you need to read this, and then I'll check it out.
Yeah, and the cover is actually really cool. I did the cover. I actually did the font as well. I did not buy this book. I found this book at a comic book store in Seattle on 85th called FOC Comics. That's not an advertisement, just saying that's where I got it. In a dollar bin, like 3 months later. So if you bought 10 copies of this book, I don't know how you lost money on it. You're out $50 or $30 or 35 or whatever. And it got optioned. There's option news about this book, which I think one show maybe we'll do an option show. Like Jason was saying, independent books are really tough to make strides on, because you just never know with the way the independent kind of deals or whatever. So anyway, I don't know anybody that was really buying a bunch of copies of this book, but it did have option news, and I think that's what kind of pushed it. But what Witches? It's been optioned since like 2016. It's almost 7 years. It's 7 years later, and now there's kind of more like production news about it. It's just so risky, man. And even if
I kind of saw those ones start to go up a little bit recently.
Yeah. But man, like that's an example. I think Bryan McClay was talking about on his show, like, it's been options for like ever, and out the gate it was up like $30, right? But nothing since. So in conclusion, in my personal opinion, FOC is super risky. Your only real luck, like I kind of like our slides were kind of showing, is your only luck is really to do the ratios if you really believe in it. I think, in my opinion, you just really have to be diligent and know what works with the market in that current time, because the market always changes, right? And you have to hit on everything. It has to either be, a book that everyone would seem to like, the cover that everyone's going to seem to like, a ratio like 1 in 50, 1 in 100, whatever, what have you. The cover A's are really risky. I didn't have there weren't a lot of books in our slides that showed a cover A being FOC, like that Static book, for example. Stray Dogs was a good one. I think 2021 is when that came out. But that Static book we were talking about earlier, like that is a tough. Like I wouldn't say like, oh, buy 10 copies of cover A. You got to go with the 1 in 100 ratio, because you think about, and I'll give credit to Trey again. He pointed out that, it's not a lot of people are buying that book for whatever reason. And to get one copy of that foil, you have to buy 100 copies. Like there's just not, like, I doubt books that we go to or stores that we go to, because I asked a few of them, did you get 100 copies of Static X Shock or whatever, which is like the 4th series of Static X? And they were like, no, there's no way. And like, that's a lot of money to put behind just to get like a 1 in 100. But yeah, man, what is your overall opinion about FOC?
I mean, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to tell anybody what to do, so it's like more or less like do what you like. But I don't, like you said, I more often than not see people losing money on FOC than gaining.
Right.
It's like for every 10 books you FOC, you might hit 1, 2, something like that, and then you're out like what? If you buy 5 at a time, you're out $50 a pop or something like that ish.
It gets real expensive to have a hobby of multiple copies of
or like 30, $40, I guess, depending on what you're buying.
Or like 25 copies of Miles Morales 38.
Yeah. Like it's always stuff that I want to have. Like I've got that what is it? The House of Secrets 92 variant, that Delato. I got that coming because I just wanted it. Like I want the cover. But I guess you couldn't buy them separately, so I got both covers.
Yeah. And I think like just stick to the basics, especially with this economy with the, I don't know if you guys watch my little kind of roller bar at the bottom, but I'm always in the macroeconomic kind of like current markets, and just with this economy, like it's just like Immortal Biggie Shack says, there's a market. It's just easier for me to buy and sell back issues, and I feel like even like, okay, forget us like small little dudes that like sell on eBay and like whatnot. The most successful comic book stores like in our area, they buy collections for like pennies on the dollar, and their margins are just like huge, right? And it's really hard to do that with FOC because you're in a way you're like a mini comic book store, but you're not buying it from the source though, so you're still not getting the margins that a comic book store is, right? So I think it's all about like what your network is and like what your who's buying from you and how much influence, quote unquote, you have on the market, or how right you are. I just stopped doing it personally. So, but CLV, whatever you guys want to do is up to you. I want to thank, we were up to 11 at one point today. We have eight strong live viewers. Thanks for watching our channel. We love doing this every Sunday. I've known Jason, I say this every episode, I've known Jason since I was like 17 years old. And this is kind of our way to keep in touch with the community, and more importantly, describe Jason's announcements. Jason messed up his sideburns this weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I look like Walter White up front.
Well, yeah, Gen X Walter White right there, dude.
Well, yeah, because I've got like, when I wear the hat, it makes it look like I have a mullet, so it's like meth up front, moonshine in the back.
Okay, that was awesome. Jason's probably one of the funniest people I know. Let's give you guys a little market report. I know that's what most of you guys are here for, not really. So kind of going DC. These are 2 titles or characters, I guess, I'm trying to like understand a little bit more about. Static X #1, which is technically his first full appearance. I feel like if you are really diving into this universe and you have a belief in whomever, instead of buying that Black Panther 3 a year ago, 9.8, get the Static X #1 Platinum in 9.8. He's on the cover. It's an old school book. I would probably veer from trying to buy like raw and getting a 9 point and hoping for a 9.8, because this book is like really tough. $775 is the buy now price. It may have gone a little bit lower for that. I'd probably be comfortable with like at $500 because this was massively printed, but it's a platinum from the early 90s. Anyway, and then Flashpoint #1, first appearance of Thomas Wayne. With the trailer coming out on Super Bowl Sunday, there's not like a more focus on the new Supergirl, which Jason picked up a few copies and myself did as well. Superman Batman #8, was it 9? Can't remember.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah. I bought a couple for like $4 a copy.
Yeah,
And
before they skyrocketed to like $40 or whatever it went to.
yeah. But I thought this Flashpoint was kind of a 314 seems like kind of expensive. Um, but if you like storylines, like this Flashpoint series is really cool. Have you I know you're digging a little bit about Static X and that Dakota universe. Do you know of any and you know, obviously Flash came out on Super Bowl Sunday or the preview. What do you know these books at all a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Although I forgot, I wanted, one of the things I really wanted to go back and read was the the Infinite Crisis series.
Oh yeah, old school stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That yeah,
Like
always good stuff, man. Ah,
it's
okay.
been a
I
long
guess
time
that
since
was
I've read
right. Oh, yeah. All right, next magazine market. So, magazines are kind of a different collectible because I think it hits like every category under the sun. So, our favorite hero or favorite baseball player of the early 2000s, Mr. Ichiro, on Sports Illustrated, May 28th, the day before my birthday, 2001. Um, I don't know what the grade is on that, but I've seen a 9.0, I want to say, Renee. I don't know if you're in the chat still, but Renee sent me a picture of a sold Sports Illustrated CGC, which takes forever to get back, by the way. Go for like $1.25. I found this actually in a place in Yakima. They had like 20 copies for like cover price. I bought one just for the heck of it. And then kind of fast forwarding to like a current Japanese baseball player star, Shohei Ohtani, who's going to be future Mariner in 2024. I know, sorry guys. Yeah, he's going to come to the Mariners and we're going to World Series next year. Dude, do you have any of these books or magazines?
I do not know.
Did
I
you
can't
ever
remember.
have
I've got some Sports Illustrated ones. I just don't remember what I have. I think I've got like the A-Rod like rookie one from when he was with the Mariners.
Yeah.
I want to say we have a Griffey one too.
Dude,
Lying
look for
around
him, man. Like
somewhere.
they're starting to people are starting to that's good news, John Smith. And I think I heard that as well. Every girl gonna be watching that show.
But Griffey's my guy.
Oh yeah, Griffey is like definitely our guy. Ichiro was like, I don't know. Ichiro is like one of the most amazing, like pound for pound athletes I've ever seen. Like the Star Wars throw. Do you remember that in right field? He threw out the dude from, and everyone was just like, "What the hell? What just happened?" That was awesome. Sports card market. So Anthony Volpe, if you're a Yankees fan or just a baseball fan, this guy is like the number one prospect. He plays shortstop. I thought that was a pretty good price if this guy can really become what he's suspected to be. And I'll tell you why. So this guy is of mixed race. He's half white and half Filipino. And you know how Filipinos be with like athletes. Like we claim a whole island nation claims them as their own. So, and I put Derek Jeter next to him, and when Ichiro or when Shohei hit a grand slam, because I would have gone crazy either way. So I put Derek Jeter next to this guy because he's supposed to be he's shortstop, so he's like the next Derek Jeter, quote unquote. And he got invited to spring training, so we'll see.
The next Yankee Clipper.
Yeah, he might be. He's got Let's Smile. He's got like he looks like Derek Jeter almost a little bit out there, but
well, like I just remember Derek Jeter was like that guy that like because being a Mariners fan, like I just do not like the Yankees. Like like it's just whatever.
Yeah, everybody.
But like what's it called? He's one of those guys that's like he's not included. It's like, yeah, you were a lifelong Yankee, but like you weren't a douchebag. Like you were basically like you got thumbs up for me, man. You were all class.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Derek Jeter, and I loved how my favorite thing about Derek Jeter in that time growing up watching baseball is you had A-Rod, Nomar, and Derek Jeter. So we honestly like arguably probably saw the three greatest, not shortstops, but just like all watching them all at the same time was like a treat. I know for me as a baseball fan, but I used to love how Derek Jeter he'd stick a ball and then he'd jump and do that splits like kind of throw to first base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was always tight. But and then Nomar with his like weird
all the time.
Yeah, it's so funny. And you know, I gotta do Final Fantasy 7 shout out. You know what I mean? So
there's your guide.
You have to have a strategy guide.
That's always your answer every time. I'm just like, yeah, I'm getting ready to like, you need a guide. And I'm like, no, what?
you have to anyway. It's an argument for another time. So this isn't actually the most valuable Final Fantasy 7 strategy guide. There's a special edition with Cloud. He's like on the front with his brick sword, you know, whatever. And then this is like my what's that?
The breaker sword.
Yeah, breaker sword. Yeah, sorry. And then this is again magazines, dude. Like this PlayStation magazine, first issue from 1997. It's I don't know if it's a newsstand. I guess it is, but $130, dude, for the first issue. That's a perfect cover too for PlayStation.
I should have held on to all my freaking Nintendo Power magazines back in the day. Like I had a subscription when I was a kid.
Did you burn them or something?
I have no idea where they went. That was like when I was 8, 9, 10, maybe really? Around that time. Yeah, I had a subscription.
I mean, there's so many things that like
I think I kind of got rid of them after I upgraded from the NES to the Genesis.
Oh, you went the Genesis route? I went Super Nintendo.
Yeah, we had Genesis here, and then the neighbors across the street had a Super Nintendo, and then I went back to after the Genesis. I got the 64 for Ocarina of Time and GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, I remember remember Bigfoot Comics. I don't know if you went there, but like there was a little video game store next door, like 2 over, and then Subway. So you had Subway, comic books, cards, and then Renee knows what I'm talking about. And then this little like video game store, like a used video game store, and they had a machine that you could play GoldenEye, 2 controllers, and you put a quarter in. I don't know how they set it up, but you put a quarter in, you play GoldenEye for however long, like 5 minutes or whatever. Dude, it was like I know people in our chat are mostly like our age or a little bit older, but dude, like growing up in the mid 90s, like on the back of your homie's like bike on the way to like the candy store and then video games, comics, and then going to like an arcade and then playing basketball, like dude, that was like the life, man.
It's like give me the top rated Call of Duty player and I will smash him at GoldenEye.
Yeah, exactly. And then a last one, I just was searching for random buys last night. CGC is now, so if you want to submit your video games to CGC, they will grade them. But I found this Jurassic, I never bought this, I never was into movie video games, but Jurassic Park, Super Nintendo, factory sealed for $500, 9.2. Excuse me. And then this random WWF WrestleMania, the greatest wrestling event of all time in Laserdisc, a dead technology that never ever came to fruition for whatever reason.
I remember going over to my buddy Eric's house before, and he'd be like, "Oh, you want to watch Predator on Laserdisc?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Honestly, like, I don't need you to flip the goddamn thing halfway through the movie.
Yeah, and it was like it was like you know, it was like an hour and a half movie, and there was like 5 discs that you had to like flip over and over again, and they were huge, right?
Just like just stick a friggin' tape in the VCR, damn it.
Yeah, I was such a weird technology. It was like it looked cool. It reminds me of like Microsoft's first attempt at a smartphone, and just it looked cool and like whatever. But anyway,
wait, so you don't buy video game or a movie video game? So you're telling me you didn't buy Aladdin and the Lion King for Sega Genesis back in the day and Super Nintendo?
I did.
Oh, I rocked the shit out of Aladdin. I know that. Stupid lava scene where you're flying out of that cave on the.
That was actually a fun game. Aladdin was actually really fun. Yeah.
Like that pissed me off. Was trying to get out of that damn cave.
Anyway, we're gonna give this away. So anyone else in the chat? I don't know, Manuel, are you in the chat at all? Anybody else? If you haven't commented in the chat, yeah, CGC grades games. They just started doing like a couple months ago, and I think out the gate they were kind of a little wonky, or just turnaround times were kind of off. But yeah, I mean, might as well submit your comic books, magazines, and video games all at the same time. But I think I got everybody that's commented in the chat, but here we go. Thanks everybody for watching. We got 10 live, which makes I know it makes Jason happy. I don't know if it makes me happy. I don't know if it makes Jason happy. Okay, he likes it. So I think we're gonna spin. So everyone, oops, we're not doing. Don't do that. Okay. Oh shoot. Share screen. How do I do this? Okay, here we go. You see it?
Yes.
Has everybody commented? Yeah, I know. They made the splash like recently. So yeah, check it out. I mean, if you have a CGC account, I know Jason grades comic books, and I've only graded like I've only graded comic books myself, but I have a VHS as well, but my goal is to like grade a comic book, a movie, an action figure, and a video game, like 4, and then put all those graded and send off to, I think it's CGA that does like, or yeah, CGA does like, or CAS. They do all of them together. So it's like a whole like big thing. It's hella, but that is like ultimate collector thing. So anyway, all right, we're gonna run this.
I was gonna say I would do something like that for like a horror movie or something like that had crossover and everything, like Evil Dead. Like I know they've got Evil Dead comics, so I'd do like Evil Dead 1 with the original Evil Dead movie, like stuff like that, and be like, here you go.
Yeah, no, seriously, dude, Renee, you gotta win something, man. Come on. Renee's so nice. Don't forget to add a card. Yes, thank you, Yee. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Let me make sure I have you in the. Okay. All right. Good luck, everybody.
Wayne Gretzky.
You could do something with Wayne Gretzky. You could. All right. Let's see who wins. Joe, you won again. Joe knows the algorithm. Joe, are you in the chat?
We've been hacked.
Maybe I don't know if he's in the chat, but I'll hit him up on Instagram or something. Yeah, they do. They did. They should run again. Okay, Joe, we'll run again. Joe's way too nice, man. If I ever make it to Oklahoma, Renee, you won last week. We're running this again. I guess this means I don't have enough people in our shows.
We have
easy. Okay, cool. All right, you're the wiener. Congrats, man. You actually I'll hit you up on Instagram. I'll get your address. We can't see. Oh, you guys can't see? Oh, my bad. Shoot.
It's because you minimized it down there. I was watching it spin on the bottom.
Oh. There you go. See? You won. I'll hit you up on Instagram. You're the winner of this big pin. Jason, we actually need to visit Yee one of these days and go to a Mariners or a Houston Rockets, a Houston Astros game. And
oh, good. I can wear my Griffey Hall of Fame jersey there.
Yeah. No, he's a really good guy. I think
as long as the fans down there don't like dump stuff on me and try to beat me up for wearing a Mariners jersey.
I just want good barbecue. That's all I want. But anyway, that's our show for this weekend, man. Do you have any closing words? You can't say no. You have to have some type of you have to have some type of closing words, okay?
Like what kind of closing words?
Like
all I'm gonna do after this is dig through all my CGC boxes and see what I've got in there that I can start throwing up on eBay.
Cool.
I'm just like, I got way too many boxes sitting around, and I'm just like, I haven't gone through them, so I know I've got stuff that I can probably move.
A reaction of Comic-Con announcements. Okay, we could do that. Yeah, thanks, Brad. Thanks for chiming in, man. And thanks to everybody for continuing to support us. And I've been doing a bunch of like these short clip videos on YouTube and trying to get ahead of that with cat videos and stuff. But we have a lot of other videos as well. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could. Oh, thanks, fiance. I really appreciate if you guys went through and just watched our other videos. Let us know what other topics you guys want us to talk about. I'll try and make up something or whatever. And yeah, thanks for watching. That's the 8th time I've said it. We'll see you next Sunday. Hopefully, you have any plans next Sunday? Are you good?
Yeah, as long as they don't designate me to work.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for your support. And don't forget to subscribe and push that like button. Watch our videos and let us know how we're doing. And have a great Sunday. And is it President's Day this weekend?
I think so. Maybe we should do like a show we should do a show on purpose that gets us 0 views.
Oh, yeah,
just talk about something that nobody wants to hear.
We're gonna be naked during the whole show.
Oh, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, so it gets 0 views. Well, if we got like 78 views, like, whoa, what the hell's wrong?
Like, oh, we've been doing this wrong the whole time, damn.
Anyway,
like our demographic in the 60 to 80-year-old women just shot up.
Oh, that's awesome. And men too. Men, it's cool with dudes, right? I do. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next Sunday. And don't forget to tell your friends about our show and take care.